Hey everybody. I always feel like when I open streams on the full cam instead of the game cam, it makes me feel like we're doing a very special episode. Like we're doing a social message episode of this stream. That's essentially what is happening. So here's context in case you are unaware. Yesterday, um, Vox announced that they and the Atlantic both, I mean, Vox didn't announce, the Atlantic did, but both Vox and the Atlantic have signed agreements with ChatGPT and OpenAI specifically to allow scraping, to basically give access to all of their archives, all of their written archives, to train AI bots. And that includes like the work that I did for the site, which is not a monumental amount because I did video, and so I didn't do a lot of writing for the site. But I certainly did do some, and it's unclear at this moment whether or not video is also going to be used to train bots. We just don't have a yes or no on that. I say we. So here's what it is I saw this last night and immediately lost my shit because this is bad. It's really, really, really bad. We'll talk more about why it's bad in context. But so I've been reaching out to my friends who still work for Polygon, and I'm just like, hey, what the fuck? And everybody is pissed. Everybody's pissed. And the way these things normally go, just for insight, is that management doesn't tell anybody what's happening. They just don't tell. They don't tell people. Yeah, the Atlantic recently released let me find, where did I put that link? The Atlantic recently released, like last week, a very damning article about about this. And the reason why things like this happen is basically that nobody who's writing for the site, none of the people who are having their content stolen, knows about it until it goes through. So basically everybody who works, the vast majority of people who work for Vox, including everyone at Polygon and The Verge and everything, didn't know about it until we learned about it yesterday. And that's pretty standard actually for things like this. Because they know if, like, management knew if the people working for the company got wind of this, that they would be really upset and try to stop it. So they agree to these deals and then tell people. And on the rare occasions that things leak early, it always causes quite a conundrum. Quite a fuss. Slugpunk, for what it's worth, I read the article that is from, because I saw that floating around and I was like, what is the context for that? And it is critical of it. It's a critical article, and it's pretty clear if you only read the section that got copy pasted everywhere, then it's not, I think, as fully clear. But if you read the whole article, it's clear that this is a really upsetting. It is not a pro article, is what I'll say. Which is why you should not trust blurbs or things. You should read the whole articles of things that you're going to be critical of. Anyway, so if you're not up to date with all of the OpenAI stuff, OpenAI is currently being sued by the New York Times because they stole a bunch of the New York Times archives in order to train its bots. And so because it's just stealing. They're stealing this content, and so the New York Times is suing them, and obviously, yeah, So to clarify, Chris Grant is in management now. I'm trying to think about, like, how much can I say from my experience without saying things that I'm like not allowed to. Chris Grant is in management, so he 100% was part of this deal, like guaranteed. Chris Plant probably knew about it. If I had to make a guess, probably knew about it. Probably didn't have any power to do anything about it, and whether or not he would care is its own question. So what's crazy about this is like, the New York Times is suing is suing OpenAI because OpenAI stole a bunch of New York Times, like all of the New York Times, basically all of their archives, in order to train its bots, and then was selling the product of that, basically. And so here's the thing: is it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy that Vox is like, oh, yeah, you can pay us to steal our content, when like the point of these products is to replace the writers that it's training on. Like that's just the long and short of it, is like the management and the companies in this, they are investing in this technology, and they want to believe in this technology even when their own sites say that it's not good, it's a scammy technology. They want to believe in it because, like, the most expensive part about making content is paying the humans that make content. Everything else you can skimp on, but like paying the people who make the content is the most expensive part of that. And so if you can find a way to offload some of that work onto a bot that has been trained on people, then they're gonna do that, even if it's a bad product, because they don't think people care about the products. They only think people care about getting a lot of it. And so this is just consistent with how media management is run now. People don't care about, like, I've talked about this before, this is an issue with the algorithm, essentially, is that good content doesn't surface, a lot of content surfaces. And so if you run a media corporation, you want a lot of content, assuming that some of it will be successful. So that's crazy. And there's no word official one way or the other whether or not that includes this, my face, my goddamn face, and my goddamn voice. But it sucks so much. It genuinely, I'm just like, I have not been able to get hardly any work done today because I'm just like sick to my stomach about the idea that the stuff that I wrote that means something to me and that is personal to me and to my experiences in the world and to my education and to my viewpoints is just going to be scraped and fed into this horrible little bot that's going to vomit up my ideas and my view of the world so that some dweeb in a fitted suit can make a couple of bucks off of it. It's fucking infuriating. It makes me sick to my goddamn stomach. And there's very little I can do about it. Because here's the situation, is that I have no ownership of what I made for Polygon. And that's very standard. Like, they were paying me for that content. They own all the rights and they can hypothetically do whatever they want with it. And I think that's where everybody is right now, because like all of the freelancers who I've talked to about this, all of the other former employees are losing their goddamn minds about it, because like we never agreed to this. It was never even a possibility. But there's some question there, right? Because if this isn't a thing that we could have anticipated and negotiated, then is it actually covered by that ownership? And that's my question, right? Because it's like, when I signed my contract with Polygon, this was not even a blip. This wasn't even a thing to be even minorly worried about. It wasn't even a thing to be minorly worried about when I was laid off. It's so new and it's so sudden. And there are some other issues too. Again, there's some stuff I just can't talk about because it might develop into something, and who knows. But here's the real thing. What the fuck? I'm trying to conceptualize how to put this into words. What the fuck? What the fuck, Vox? Because they're gonna get money for this, obviously, and they're probably there's probably like an initial amount of money that they're going to get for this deal, and then there's probably as new content comes in from the writers, they're going to there's probably like, I don't want to use the word subscription, but there are probably like ongoing payments happening here to give continual access to all of the new content that comes up. But who the fuck is going to work for them? Who the fuck is gonna work for Vox? I guarantee that Vox thinks that they're on the cutting edge here and that this is gonna become so widespread that every newsroom does this. And that's not impossible. It's so unlikely though, because you're creating a situation where like every person who works there knows that by working there, they are training their replacements. It's just like, is fucking Kara Swisher gonna be there training a chatbot on her face and voice to take over for her? You think Ezra Klein is gonna be like, oh yeah, just go ahead and make a chatbot with my goddamn face? No. Anybody who can leave, who can leave, anybody who has concerns about this, which my guess is most of the people at Vox and under Vox, is like, anybody who can leave, I think, is going to leave. Like, how are you going to hire well-established journalists if they know that the work that they're doing is just going to be going to like, it's I don't know that there's going to be an exodus, and I don't want to claim that. I don't want to suggest that I'm speaking for people that work there in any sort of way, because I don't. I'm out of the loop. I've been out of the loop. And everything I'm saying is just based on my experience there and within this overall industry. But it's like, what well-established journalist, what person who understands how to do any of the things that they want to work on, like, who's gonna take these jobs? Like, who's gonna be doing this? It's perplexing to me what the long-term plan for this is. Like, I'm certain they've done their due legal diligence about whether or not they have any vulnerabilities in this, people like me whose work is just going to be fed there. And the question, and I'm certain they've done their due diligence there. Whether or not that's accurate and is going to hold up, we'll see. But it's just like, what is your long-term plan? What the fuck are you thinking? I don't know. Ooh, Oh, Mechtel, I'm sorry to hear that. And well, this is the thing, is like, I don't know when the next union contract is. But like I don't know if the current union contract has any guidelines for AI. And part of me wonders if like companies are moving quickly on this because like I'm curious. Again, this is not me saying that I think this is a part of it. This is literally me saying I am curious if this is a thing. I am curious if like part of why they pushed it through so quickly is to get this locked in before they were able to engage on a union front with getting provisions for this in the contract. And I don't know, maybe the contract already has provisions like that. I'm uncertain. Big Butt, this is a question. Yeah, okay, so Big Butt, who is one of the devs for Haunty, which is a game we will be playing today, says, if AI companies are happy to just steal all the content and pay the fines as cost of doing business, is it not in theory better to license it and use that money to pay the writers? I know some of that is devil's advocate, presuming execs will act in good faith, but it's a thought in the back of my mind this whole time. I think it's a fair question. What these AI companies are doing is illegal, and that is why they are being sued by the New York Times. And I think the New York Times is going to be a huge bellwether, and how this case goes, we should all be watching very closely, because how this case goes is going to determine the legality of this, because it is not legal what they are doing. They are scraping content and remeshing it and exporting it as though it is their own. I mean, I don't believe it's legal. Again, like this lawsuit is going to be an interesting determination of that. But the answer is no. The answer to everything you said is no. It's not better to license it, because the long-term plan for OpenAI and all of these AI bots is to replace the people doing this work. That's just it. It's the same with factory work. The point of factory machines is to replace skilled labor, so you don't have to pay skilled labor. It's a very one-to-one situation. Like, you can do very, very clear comparisons about it, and it's not inevitable. It's it's probably not legal to steal all this content. This is this is a question with Scarlett Johansson too, is like, technically those movies are out there and you can just plug them into your bot. But you're stealing likenesses, you're stealing words. And this is the thing is like, when you get hired at a company like this, when I got hired by Polygon, they had a huge body of people that they can choose from. They chose me because there was something unique and valuable and, from their perspective, profitable about me, about the way that I talk and the way that I write and my education and my perspectives on games. And they're saying there is something essentially valuable about that. And now they want to devalue my ability to do that by scraping all this data and making this weird little monster do it. And so it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy that they are telling all of their workplace, everybody who works for them, like, hey, you have value, enough value that we're going to pay you, and that is going to be profitable for us, right? Because that's how this system works. And now they're saying, for now, listen, I'm not fully against AI. I think it has its place, right? It has a purpose. Is that purpose accurately doing investigative journalism or critiques, or like, fundamentally, I don't think I could be replaced with AI because I have a novel sense of my own humanity. Like, I can't be like, that's just the long and short of it. And AI could go through all of the experience I have done in life and not come out the other side being me, because we're humans. And that's the long and short of it. But I do think in the short term, this is gonna ruin fucking lives of people that you care about, lives of people that you want to engage with, like their content, the works that they do, the investigation journalism that they do. You want to know. You want that content. This is where I'm at emotionally. Just screaming. So the long and short of it, thank you, is my Mothman mug. All my other mugs are dirty. Man. Yeah, where to go? What to say? I feel physically sick. I feel physically sick about it. I don't even have that much, I don't have that much written content on Polygon. I've said this before. Because that's not what I was hired to do. So there's some, but there's not a lot. But a lot of my friends have years of work, years of energy and their thoughts and their personality that they've poured into the site because they believed in it, and they never fucking thought this would be an option, because why would it be? Why would it be? And now it's like, well, what the fuck? I know so many people who are incredibly skilled and incredibly good at their jobs at Vox, at all of the imprints at Vox, they have to be struggling right now, right? Because here's the question the question generally is, do you stay? Do you stay knowing that they are selling all your everything about you? I don't know. Mechtel says, Jenna, this reminds me of a joke about how we all thought the future was going to be robots doing menial labor so we could focus on arts and creativity. And now the robots will be doing arts and creativity, so we have to do menial labor and hustling to live. Yeah. Yep. And it's because menial labor is considered menial labor. This isn't an accident. This isn't like... I think you often hear that phrase, the cruelty is the point. This is the point. This is the point of these systems. The point of these systems is to make these high value, respected jobs of creating art and information and knowledge is they're doing it. Hey, Zach. They are doing it to force everybody into menial labor, because menial labor is menial labor because we don't value it and it is cheap. It is not, and you often hear, this is another refrain you hear a lot, is that there is no such thing as unskilled labor, only unvalued labor. That's what people who believe in this version of capitalism and this structure of management want. They want everybody. They don't want to pay humans. This is the long and short of it. They don't want to pay humans because humans are the most expensive part of running a business. That's why we have like labor shortages right now, right? It's because all these businesses are like, well, we can't skimp out on paying humans, but we'll do the best that we can by like giving you half shifts so you can't get health insurance through us and things like that. And it's like the humans, if you don't pay humans, then how do humans buy things? It's a great question. It's a great question, Zach. It's a great question. It's a good question. This is the thing, is they don't care. Because they know that, like, what are you going to do? Not pay for housing? What are you going to do? Not pay for food? Not pay for water and electricity? Not pay for your phone? They've created a system in which we need them. We need certain structures in our society to pay, to be able to afford the things that we need to live, just to survive. And so they know that we can't stop. They know we can't stop. They think that this is a treadmill we have to run on forever, which is why even though we've seen the effects of like a universal income and that it's widely positive on like human health and happiness, you can't do it under a capitalist system because then it all falls down. Because then how do you force people to work low-paying, exploitative jobs because they have to buy food? Zach, there are more of us than there are of them. We could just stop, maybe. Potentially. Maybe. I mean, this union traction is, I think, the best way. I think I've said this before, is that unionizing your workplace is the best thing. The more broad protections we have for, the more unity we have amongst workers, better. Better. Good. I'm really angry. I'm just angry. I'm angry and sad today. How do you organize a societal strike is a very hard question. Yeah. No, it's, I mean, this is the thing, is like everybody needs to be unionizing the workplace. I've talked about this before. And then once we have more and better broad unionization like that, it becomes easier to do general strikes, because then you have more unity on this basic level. Avoiding bears. What a time. What a time. How do we get web devs to unionize? That's a good question. I never did web development as a job, so I don't begin to even know. Well, here's what I'll say. Here's some basics about if you're wondering about how to unionize. Yeah, big but that's a great point. If unions didn't work, companies wouldn't pay so goddamn much to suppress them or to counteract them. Here's what I'll say. If you're interested in unionizing and you don't know how to go about it, number one, do not let management know that you are thinking of unionizing. That's like my number one recommendation. You cannot let management know until you have as large a buy-in of the employees as possible, because the soon as management gets a whiff of it, that is when they will start shutting things down. And by shutting things down, I mean like firing people or putting things in place that try to prevent unionizing. So don't let management know. What I would do first is search in your region or in your kind of employment for pre-existing unions, because the thing about unions is that they love for people to join them. Maybe that's one of those statements that is so dumb, but you just have to say it. Beard Zach says unionizing web devs has the same problem that unionizing most tech work does, that they are kept fat and happy and are more than happy to either do nothing or class trader. Reach out to your local DSA chapter or relevant union organization. Yeah. Step one, don't let management know. Step two, find a pre-existing union. That's going to be your best bet, because they already know. They already have scripts. They already have information about the benefits of unionizing and why this is a good thing. They can help guide this. You have to contact your pre-existing unions. Any work that you do almost certainly has a pre-existing union. They might not be very strong and they might not be very local, but they are out there, and you just have to find them and reach out. Once you do that, they can help guide you the rest of the way. But in general, my experience is you need to sniff out the comrades. You need to find the comrades. you need to find the comrades within your employment and slowly feel out their vibes and try to get them on board. And that's the thing, is like, if you do that enough and you have enough people who are interested in such a thing and are willing to take the risk, then you can start actually making movement. And it's hard. It's hard and it's stressful and it's frustrating, but I can promise you the rewards for yourself and your coworkers and your whole community are great. They're positive. There's just like the financial benefits, right? Of like guaranteed wages to combat inflation, and like guaranteed breaks, and like things like a 5-day work week, etc. Like, the benefits are there, even if you're not going to be able to reap them all the time. You got to get them. You got to go for it. Last job we had, we weren't allowed to discuss pay and stuff like that. And I was trying to unionize so bad, but just before I quit, because no one was willing to take the risk. That's the problem, is like, some people can't. Some people can't, and some people won't. So it's really it's a charisma skill. Unionizing is a rogue's feat. It's something, it takes a long time, and it takes a lot of very small movements. But again, if you're at a job that you're invested in, you're at a job that you like, if it were just better paying or had better breaks or better benefits, then like, boom, do these things. You can do it. The workplace is never going to get better, and as we've seen, will continue to get worse pretty much everywhere unless you take steps to fight back against it. Checking the union laws in your state or country are also a really important thing to do. It's really an important thing to consider, because they're going to be different, and the risks are going to be different, and the benefits are going to be different depending on where you live. You're currently unionizing your workplace common opponent that rules, and not unexpected from you. I'd say in a positive way. Man. Yeah. It's also fascinating. The not discussing pay thing I think is really interesting, because that is also such a broad cultural thing that sometimes I butt up against, because I'm just like, yeah, let's talk. I'm going to tell you how much money I make. Tell me how much money you make. Like a unionizing Disney princess. I'm just like, well, gosh, tell me. We should share. Let's compare starting offers. Like, things like that. It's just crazy. But it's so weird to me coming up against people who are just like, that's so rude. It's such a gross thing. Can you believe Jenna did that? And I'm just like, why? Why? I'm not talking about, like, I'm not asking you how much you pay for your car. I'm not asking you how much you spend on groceries or candles every month or whatever bullshit. I'm asking how much money the company values you for compared to me for. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to want to discuss. Like, it's so direct. I don't know. Okay. Geosdi, do you have a pie segue? And is this going to be a pun? Zach says, but Jenna, if you know how many points I'm getting, you'll know what I'm worth as a people. It's true. It's true. I do wonder sometimes if people are against it because I always wonder if it's because they're worried that they make more money or they're worried they make less money. Do they want to be unaware that they're less valued, or I don't know. It's a good looking pecan pie. Maybe I'll get a cake today. Maybe I'll get a slice of cake. I deserve it. I'm being exploited by a capitalist structure that I have no control or power over. That's infuriating. 10,000 more. Fucking infuriating. Infuriating. Consciousness raising. You don't know. This is the thing, is like, I don't know. I was thinking about this recently too, because like, academic feminists rightfully get a lot of criticism, and it's all well earned, and I disagree with basically none of it. But very rarely do we recognize the thing that like 60s, like feminist, academic feminists in the academy were doing in the 50s and 60s and 70s. And one of the main things that they were doing that has changed so much about our culture and been so underappreciated is consciousness raising. And basically they would have like group therapy, basically, where people would get together and be like, so this is how my husband treats me. How does your husband treat you? And then like, once you have like this pool of information, you can move away from like anecdotal. I mean, it's still anecdotal, but you can move away from that understanding of the world and closer to a real understanding of the world, which is like, oh, this information is consistent. Like, our life experiences, there's some overlap here. And that means that there are structural issues at work. And it's the same for labor concerns, right? Is like, their consciousness raising is something we've seen in the last 5 years, which has been incredible and needs to keep going and needs to keep going further. Academics and others, an exploited workforce. I think I've mentioned before that when I taught 2 college classes a semester while I was in grad school. For the whole year, I made $14,000. And that was the money I had to live on while I was a grad student. And mind you, this was a decade ago. This was a while ago. So the money is different now than it would be now. But it was just like, and I mean, to be fair, that covered my tuition, right? Like, I was getting an education in grad school. But you know what that is? Not a lot of fucking money to live on. And most of the people I went to grad school with were either supported by a spouse that had a legitimate, well-paying job, supported by parents, independently wealthy because oil was found on his family farm, etc., etc. The money isn't that different now. I imagine it's worse, because I imagine it hasn't gotten better. It has, if anything, stayed the same as inflation, and the cost of everything has gotten worse. So I have to imagine it's significantly worse. We did have a union, though. Here's the thing, is I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison. We did have a grad student union. They weren't super effective, but the reason I made $14,000 is exceptionally high for a grad student. And that's because I went to a very good, well-running school. But like, that's because we had a union. Like, we had a union. We were unionized. We were unionized weirdly, though. We were with an auto union or something like that. It was a bonkers one. Yeah, it was during Walker time. Yeah, it certainly was during Scott Walker's illustrious tenure. That's where you got your degree? Yeah, I went to University of Wisconsin-Madison for my grad studies. I was in the media department, media and culture. If you took intro to speech, you were either taught by me or one of my cohort. Oh, man. Madison, you live in Madison? I love Madison. I have not been back to Madison since I skulked out of there, having early quit grad school. But I've been thinking about going back, because Madison is quite lovely, and I do like it quite a lot. All our salaries are public knowledge, which works great for collective bargaining. That rules. I think we need such an overhaul in every part of labor. University of Wisconsin-Madison is also where the Onion started. It started as a campus paper. So you're welcome. I had nothing to do with it. It was way before my time. It was like the 80s or something. But it also has a surprisingly, I wouldn't say big, but there are a few video game companies in Madison. In fact, id Software, the creators of Doom, worked out of Madison for a while. Pre-Doom. I think while they were doing Wolfenstein, maybe. Every job I make a secret spreadsheet for salaries and just start collecting and sharing because tech works don't get union. Yeah. The Onion got started. No, the newspaper, The Onion, got started in Madison. Yes, too much coffee painting. It's the funniest fucking thing to me. Google AI, in case you haven't noticed, aren't aware of what is happening. Google AI, the disastrous broad launch of Google AI, has been sampling Onion articles and Onion headlines for legitimate information that they give, that they are giving users, which is so... It would be so funny if it weren't so dangerous. Yeah, how do you satirize all of that? Thankfully, it's not up to us. I trust The Onion to find a way through. If anything, I hope The Onion doubles down on packing their articles with... I mean, it's hard to do more insane misinformation than they already have, because that's their whole bit, but has also been using Reddit posts. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Glue your cheese to your pizza, everyone. Hey, I'm gonna use Google AI. I'm gonna use an AI bot to determine if this mushroom is cause my organs to liquefy and pour out my anus. Let me just click. Wow, it says it's good to go. I'm gonna go for it. Like, what a fucking what a stupid bullshit world we live in. Yeah, something popped up. I think it was in Google Mail or maybe it was in Chrome, being like, would you like to use AI to help you write? It's free. And I'm like, it's not free. It will cost me more than you can understand, you stupid little robot. I mean, auto translations, this is a tricky thing, is like, because I know machine learning translations is almost certainly detrimental to the translation industry, but it's also so useful. It's so helpful. It's such a good starting place for communication. And it's like, stuff like that is really cool. That's such a nice use of machine learning. The rest of this is insane bullshit. Oh yeah, udm14.com, the non-AI link that we can use for Google. Or Counterpoint. I switched my laptop, all of my search engines on my laptop, to default to DuckDuckGo, and I feel great about it. It's great. The only thing that's bad about it compared to Google, and I do mean the only thing, is that sometimes I'm just looking for the Wikipedia page for something, and if you use Google, it'll always have that little sidebar. But I will say that sidebar is so choked with bullshit now, because Google has lost their way so thoroughly, that it's hard to... You have to turn off AI answers on DuckDuckGo now? I haven't seen that yet. That's a nightmare. That's tragic. It is still, I will say, DuckDuckGo is still better. It's just like, so it's less, it looks like Google from the 2000s or early 2010s maybe. It's just like, it's not as overwhelmed. I also just think the quality of the results, like the sheer quality of the search results, is superior. And I just can't trust anything I find when I search Google anymore. And it's hard because it is such a reflex. That's my big issue, is it's just such a reflex to be like, oh, when did this game come out? And I'll type it in, but then it takes me like too long to actually suss out when a game came out, because it'll just be like, yeah, it came out this year, and it's like, it didn't. I know it didn't come out this year. What are you doing? I need a nap. I need a nap. I'm in my feelings about it all. Yeah. I mean, the fact that Reddit officially went public, right? I know they were working on it, but did that actually happen? Because even that is so funny. It's like, thanks for the stream. No, I'm not ending yet. I need to come down from this by playing some game. We're gonna ride the roller coaster in the game a whole bunch. A while ago? I thought it was just earlier this year. I guess a while ago can mean any amount of time in the past, but even that's fascinating to me because it's like, this has always been the issue with the internet. Do y'all remember years and years and years ago when HuffPo was first sold? And this was a huge issue because because the people who wrote for HuffPo were not like employees of HuffPo. It was like a platform, if I remember correctly. This has been a minute and I haven't looked this up, so double check what I'm saying here. Is like, that was a huge issue because the woman who owned it was like, we're gonna sell HuffPo. It was a mess. And it's like, all of these people were writing for it, because they were like giving their expertise for it. They weren't thinking, oh, we're building profits to be sold. But that's what they were doing. And it's the same thing with Reddit. It's all these years later, it's just the same thing. It's like people put their time and energy into these platforms because that's where the community is. And that's where they belong. Like, that's where they're socializing, right? That's this whole wave of media is like, it comes from this basic understanding that humans love each other and we want to talk to each other and spend time with each other and sometimes yell at each other and harass each other because humanity is really fucked up. But you just do that for long enough and suddenly you have a body of information or a body of... that's what it is. It's just information. It's just human created information that is suddenly a product. And so... Olivia, I think that's the funniest thing, actually. Reddit has never been profitable. And so them going public is just like, what's your plan? I don't understand any of this. Weird, isolated BBS forums really was the golden age. Yeah. Yeah. Non-social engagement media. AOL chat was when the internet peaked. I think Reddit will keep going for a while. I know I'm not tapped in very much with the Reddit community. But I know there's tons of pushback from the mods. I don't know if it's going to be enough to change anything, but we'll see. We'll see. I also miss LiveJournal. Does LiveJournal still exist? Should we all go back to LiveJournal? No, I guess I'm just recreating the issue. That's the problem. Is there's no good place to be. I mean, Discord is relatively better, although I know they were also going to be like, yeah, we're going to train chat. Going to train AI on your weird, horny internet conversations. Man. Yeah. Immortal Ethicist, those were peak internet times. When you only talked to, when the internet communities were still like villages that you never left unless you were exiled, and then you had to find your own other community of 30 metalheads. You know everybody's name, by which I mean username, and you know all their avatars, and you know their signatures, their sign-offs, and their forum posts. Common opponent, that's a great question. Can't wait to scrape that data. How do I know they're horny? iSupply, because those are the Discords I'm on. All the Discords I'm on are either horny or horror or both. The old way of indexing just can't work. I miss web circles. Y'all remember web rings? I miss web rings. I miss guest books. Miss blogs. Man, I'm just being nostalgic now. I'm looking to the past for comfort. I'm searching backwards for any sort of comfort that we might circle back to a positive version of the internet. Ugh! Well, John Green can have a blog because his name's fucking John Green, but everybody knows it. He's named John Green, but if you say John Green, the most generic white man name ever existent, you still know you're talking about John Green. If you say Hank Green, the second most generic white man name that has ever existed, everyone knows you mean Hank Green. I mean, this is ultimately the issue. This isn't ultimately the issue. There's too many issues for any to be ultimately the issue. I was just transitioning. The way algorithms function is not good media, it's a lot of media. And AI is going to create a lot of shitty media. And those are the media accounts that are going to win out. The internet is, I simply don't know how it is going to, how any other route forward for that. And that's the thing about the futures, you don't know. And at any moment, a freight train could come and change all of these conversations and all of these things. I don't know what that would be. I don't see anything brewing. But it's just like getting real John Henry vibes. Yeah, Corvus Punk. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Okay, I've talked about this before. I believe in a Patreon exclusive video, but we're gonna talk about it now. The plot, the moral of the John Henry. Okay, if you don't know what John Henry is, it's an American folklore. Iron John Henry was a railway worker. He's basically one of the few black folk heroes. So I think it's a really fascinating story from like a racial angle, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about labor. Iron John Henry is a railway worker. When they brought in the first machines that could drill through mountains to make railroad tracks, it was John Henry versus the machine. They were trying to see who could drill through a mountain faster. This machine that could do it, or John Henry with a fucking pickaxe and his shining muscles trying to break through. And what happens is John Henry wins. John Henry beats the machine and dies doing it. And that's the thing. It's not just that AI will win. I mean, that's the thing is like, John Henry will win in the short term, but as the machine gets stronger, the machine is going to win. That's one of the issues. The other issue is John Henry dies. And the people who are going to be putting their money in putting their time and their energy and their talent and their expertise into this sinkhole of algorithmic focused content, it's going to ruin lives. I got my hair cut the other day, and the people in the chair next to me, who I did not know, but the woman in the chair next to me was talking about how I think her daughter or her granddaughter or her niece or her nephew or something wants to be a YouTuber, and how you can go to school to be a YouTuber or a gamer now. And I would not have talked to them except that she mentioned both gaming and YouTubing. And I was like, that is what I do for a living. Please don't. And this is hard. It's hard to want to be like, this is something I'm reasonably successful doing, and I don't think other people should do it. And that feels cruel. It feels like a cruel thing to say. It feels like I'm pulling the ladder up behind me. But it is one of those things where it's like, I'm very lucky. Like, I'm really lucky. It's very unusual. And like, I'm not like a superstar. I am what I know other people at my level, and we call ourselves working class media. Like, we're working class media content creators, because like, I don't own a house. I still rent, but I can't afford to rent. Like, I can afford to like travel. I don't have to worry about affording groceries and shit. I'm not out here buying mansion after mansion. Like, I'm not fucking Logan Paul or whatever bullshit, right? That's not what I'm trying to be. Like, I'm not trying to game the algorithm to so much that I can make my own chocolate or burger line, like Mr. Beast or whatever bullshit. Like, I'm not trying to sell out and just succeed in that way, because I think that's selling out the human race, and that's selling out my personal integrity. And for what? Money? I would love more money. But But I also have to like turn off the computer and live with myself as who I am now. And it's just like, I'm doing okay. Although, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe to this stream. Don't forget to go to patreon.com/thejenna to subscribe. But it is just like, how do you get into it now? How do you do that now? I do not know. I don't know. Olivia, thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank all of you for coming and hanging out and listening to me literally at moments just scream. It's always been working artists. Yeah, there always have been working artists. I think it's harder. It's a lot harder now than it used to be. Maximum Cowboy, thank you for the gift subs. Bye, Sexalia DeRollo. I would love to come. I'm already liked and subscribed. I'm doing it harder. Thank you, Maximum Cowboy. You're a maximum hero on top of being a maximum cowboy. No, too much coffee painting. Here's how you do it, is you get AI to do it for you. Oops. That's it. That's it. Lava Hot, thank you as well for the gift subs. I mean, this is it. Like, this is why it is going to be what it is. If quality matters less than quantity, and you can get quantity by pumping and dumping AI. I mean, okay, let's find a hopeful moment. Is that eventually, okay, no, here I do have a legitimate hopeful note. And this is based on a TikTok I saw from somebody who, based on what I have seen from her, is legitimate. There is now an issue. Maximum Cowboy, thank you for the one additional gift sub to Mechtel. All those gifts kept missing a stream staple. This woman was talking about AI resumes. So if you're not familiar, the resume job industry is in a fucking shambles. And so a lot of recruiters, so you have all these like Zip recruiters, you know, those ads that you hear on podcasts. The companies that do those have been using like basically SEO scraping for the resume. So you put your resume in, and long before a human ever looks at it and makes a real judgment about it, AI or some sort of machine learning has already looked at it and said, yes, you're a fit, or no, you're a fit, based on you using the correct keywords. Chad, thank you. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Zach. So this is how job applications are going now. You wanted to get on the board? Welcome to the leaderboard. And so basically, when you're submitting your resume, you're supposed to juice it. I've also seen a couple, because this is something I'm interested in. I'm not really searching for jobs in this sort of format, which is a privilege I am thankful for. Every once in a while, I'll see an interesting job and I'll send off a resume, and I've never once heard back from any of them, not even a rejection. But you have to. What the recommendation is you basically copy and paste the job application, and maybe you switch up a few words so that when a human gets it, it looks different. But you use like synonyms for stuff that's in the job posting, and then because a machine wrote it, probably to a certain extent, a machine is going to read your resume, and that's who you need to talk to. But what this TikTok was talking about is that there's a huge issue right now because people are flooding job postings with AI created resumes. And then when those resumes get through the machine layer of job searching, a human looks at it and makes an interview with these people, and they are like, they don't know shit. I think that's really funny. It's so much a play stupid games, win stupid prizes situation, as some might say. And so like job posting, jobs are getting posted getting overwhelmed with like 1,000 resumes in the first hour because everything is automated, and then closing because they're like, oh, surely one in these 1,000 people are qualified. And then like, no, they aren't, because it's all AI bullshit. And so she went on to talk about some of the things that she thinks companies are going to do in response. The youth don't want to work. Who could blame them? I hope that's not true. But it is interesting to see it, because like what's going to happen is you will have a tipping point. This is my understanding. And then you hear back a month later after you applied. Yeah, if you hear back at all. Eventually, if things go as they are now, these platforms will be overrun with nonsense, right? If you can pump out 20 AI videos a day, then eventually, if enough people are doing that to the extent that they can because of this sort of capability, is like eventually these platforms will be overwhelmed. They will be unusable, or in the case of like Google AI, actively harmful and actively. This is the thing, is like if I hop on TikTok and I make a video about a mushroom that's poisonous and I say, hey, this is totally fine to eat, go for it, and somebody does that, I'm liable for that. The platform is probably not liable. And that's like one of the things that companies love about platforms, is that the liability for the content it doesn't lie solely with them, and they can, kind of pass the buck, basically. And that's why you have a problem with like misinformation on every platform. It's because the people who own it are just like, well, I didn't say insert insane, wrong, amoral, dangerous, violent thing here. Oh, we didn't say that. We at YouTube didn't say that. People on our platform did. And if we suppress it, then it's free speech, etc., etc., etc. And this is why free speech is like such a popular sticking point in modern politics, when it hasn't always been. I lost my train of thought. But this is the point, is like, if I make a video like that, I remembered my point. If I make a video like that, I am liable. If Google AI, Google branded Google AI says, hey, this mushroom's fine to eat, and somebody eats it and dies, they are liable. They can't point to the body of information that they stole from and say, oh, it wasn't us, it was the Onion. The Onion said this bad thing. They can't do that, because first of all, then they're admitting that they stole content from the Onion. They're passing the buck that way. But also because it's like, no, this is your product. You're the one saying this. And this is actually something we've already seen an issue with. There was, I'm not going to be able to remember the details of this either, because I wasn't expecting to talk about it, but there was an airline issue where somebody was talking to an AI chatbot on a website, and they asked like, hey, do I need like proof of bereavement in order to get this ticket refunded or discounted? It was Air Canada. Can somebody find the link? Can you find the link? Sorry to make you do work. Yeah. And so, and the AI chatbot was like, oh, thank you. Y'all are so good. Thank you, Zach. Was like, yeah. You can, you'll get your money back, or whatever it was. The link is there so you can read it yourself. And they were found liable because their chatbot, not a big amount, but they did get fined. But that's the thing, is like, that's establishing precedent, right? Like, if your chatbot, if your product, it's your product, you are responsible for it. It is under your name. Your company owns it. That is your product. And then it has this issue. Suddenly that company is liable again. And I do think that's going to be a huge problem for these platforms that I don't know if they fully thought through. And again, because I'm not behind the scenes, I don't know to what extent they are aware of this and like working against it. Google AI doesn't seem to care. That's the thing, is like, because you've seen so many changes with how Google has been operating, and I know Ed Zitron has been doing incredible work talking about it. I always struggle with Ed Zitron's name, because in my mind I'm like, Ed Lemon, and that is not his name. But he posted that he's been doing some great work on this front about how the ethical ramification, like, it's just a cheap buck. It's a cheap buck left and right. And this is the thing, is like, we're the ones going to get hurt in the meantime. Humans are. Humanity worked for Tesla. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Like, it's the individual people that are going to suffer, as always with structural concerns like this. It's like, we are the ones that are suffering under this rule. And the people who are doing it, the people who are controlling it, aren't. They're rich. They don't have to suffer this. They don't have to Google things. They have butlers to Google things for them. And it's just stuff like that where it's just like, they don't care. They simply don't care. They simply do not care. They never will. Because caring is not profitable. They have Jeeves! Gave her girl boss baby Bjorn. I really liked that. Bring back Ask Jeeves. Is Ask Jeeves still around? Is Ask Jeeves still around? Oh, it's ask.com, and they don't have a fun, fuckable little butler telling me what things are? If a web engine isn't addressing me as Ojo-sama, I'm not interested. I don't want it. If my search engine isn't going to say it's time to go to bed, your beautiful skin will be ruined, and then dance for me, do a little dance for me, then I don't even know what the point is. I'm referencing a TikTok meme. I'm referencing one of my favorite TikTok memes, which is a bunch of, I believe, Japanese men dressed as butlers doing a butler cafe thing, where they say, Ojo-sama, it's time to go to bed. And then if you're like, and then they're like, if you don't go to bed, we'll have to dance. Ade, ade. And then they dance. They do a flirty little dance. Anyway, that was about TikTok. It was a fun TikTok diversion. TikTok's fun. TikTok's fun, but it's gotten bad this year. Because like every platform, it genuinely used to be like, TikTok used to be like, you'd get like 5 videos and then maybe an ad and then like 10 videos an ad. It genuinely feels like every other post is either an explicit ad or a sponsored post. And it's really, it has decayed rapidly, my enjoyment of TikTok. But it's fun. There's a lot of fun stuff on TikTok. Although again, I will say this is the thing, is like, I'm very active about like checking accounts on TikTok that have interesting videos to see like, okay, what kind of other videos are they posting? Is this just a content farm? Is this a real person? Are they talking about the same thing? Are they making different videos every time? Like what is the vibe of this? And I got tricked by AI Keanu Reeves. And I didn't realize I'd been tricked by an AI Keanu Reeves, even though I checked the actual account. I didn't know I was getting tricked by him until I saw an article, I think on Wired or something, about this specific AI Keanu Reeves TikTok account. They got me! I have a master's degree in media. I'm very thorough about checking, and I can still get got, which is just infuriating. It's terrifying. It's terrifying to me. I hate it. I hate it. I will say it was a fun account, though. I will say it was a fun account. But then once I knew it was AI, I was like, this is gross. I don't know how Keanu Reeves feels about this, but this is gross and I can't allow this, so I blocked it. I unfollowed and blocked it. It was just like, what a nightmare. Anyway, here's the nice thing is about TikTok. TikTok is much like any other social media, which is that the best stuff is going to escape containment. Is that the word I want? The best stuff is going to escape containment anyway. So if you don't want to get on TikTok, but you still want to see stuff, just find like a Tumblr or a Twitter, like whatever social media you use, just find an account that scrapes their stuff and then follow that. And it's not great because then those people making it don't get those views. Actually, I think for TikTok embeds, I do think they still get those views, which is a lot better than most content scraping. But like, if you absolutely don't want to watch TikToks, I only watch TikToks on Instagram. There you go. Instagram might be the worst way to doing that because, well, I mean, most creators who are on TikTok are also going to be on Insta for the large part. Although I've noticed a lot of people I'm contemporaneous with basically don't have TikToks. Like, I don't think the Drawfee people have. I'm whispering like I'm worried that they're here, like I'm gossiping about them, this publicly known information. I don't think the Drawfee folks have TikTok, which I think is kind of surprising. But I guess they don't need it. They're well established on other stuff. But it is just one of those things where it's like, they do have a TikTok. Maybe I've just not been able to find it. Maybe it's just not popular enough. They do, it's just not used a lot. Well, there you go. The other thing is, like, this is just an interesting weird thing about TikTok is you have, if somebody is stealing your content, you have to have a TikTok account for them to to even report. Does Drawfee have me blocked? No, Zach. I'll fucking email Julia about it. Wow, when I type in Drawfee in TikTok, it auto-completes Karina Sonic. This looks mostly like fan stuff. Oh no, they are on here. Okay, they got a pretty good following. So does Drawfee Seal. Great. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they've got, okay, but it's not, this is interesting. It's not repackaged content from their other stuff. Yeah, BDG was having an issue where I know that account because it followed me, and I was like, I know Brian's not on TikTok, so I don't know what this account was, but it had something like 300,000 plus followers. So a lot of people thought that was actually Brian posting on that post. But that's fine. That's just normal bad internet stuff. I hope that got taken down. I don't know what it does. Because again, you can't, because Brian doesn't have a TikTok, period. So you can't report it because there is nothing to report it to. Like, you can't report a TikTok account for stolen stuff unless you can point to a TikTok that it is stolen from. What? Anyway. The account added to their bio, fan account after BDG released that song. It's not enough. It's not enough, and they know it's not enough, but they're like, but I have 300,000 plus followers. I can't give up on that just because I'm doing something immoral and ripping off a creator whose content I really like. Right? Because I'm certain it is a fan. It's a fan account. I'm certain it is a fan. And to be like, my expression of fandom is to... my expression of fandom is to take your content and post it under your name on a different account and pretend to be you. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. We just had a 4-hour video about this. Yeah. Yeah. All right. It says Live Well Store now. Wait, the former BDG TikTok is called Live Well Store now, and the icon changed to a shopping icon. It posted a video of a guy crying. Is this the BDG TikTok account? Because that's funny and horrifying. Well, and so this is the thing, is like, most content farms, yeah, the BDG account, that's so funny. Most content farms, this is how they operate, right? They steal content, they put it on, they get enough followers to flip. And normally they will either flip to a like sponsored business account like that, and they now have 300,000 plus followers who are going to be looking at their dumb ads, or they will simply sell it. Like, that is the structure for content farms. So if you've ever seen content farms and been like, what are you getting out of this? What are you doing? It's flipping. It's just content. It's attention span flipping. Yeah. So if you see content farms, I think it's fine to engage with the content. Don't invaluate the accounts by like following them. That's what I would recommend. You used to have to make entire magazines to flip your account. See kill screen. Still mad. Anyway, it's fascinating. It sounds exhausting. I mean, it must be profitable in some way, or I mean, they could be operating out of a economic situation in which it's not super profitable, but it is an income source. And like, if other income sources are hard to find by, it's a lot of work for not a lot of money, but what else are you going to do? Yeah, they sell the accounts to other scammers, or both, or just to get into Vitamix, either. Both. It's just like you use other people's content. Wow, wait a minute. Have we come full circle? You take other people's content without their knowledge or consent. You repackage it, and then you use that to get views. And then you sell, once you have enough views and have enough people following, then you sell it. This is genuinely just the individual version of the structural capitalist stuff that we've been talking about this whole time. So the fact that Vox, just to bring this full circle, the fact that Vox and the Atlantic are like, what a great strategy for making money. Those poor content farms are doing it on such a small scale. How do we systematically rip off hundreds of people legally, under legal protection, and make a lot of money from other companies doing it? It's crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Vox stuff. I mean, it's happened. Like, they signed the deal, so it's happening. I don't know what kind of fallout, if any, there's going to be from it. But you better believe I'm watching. Ooh, you better believe I'm watching. Super curious to see what's going to happen with this. Should we play a game, or should we just keep talking? I do think everything still says it. Says that it's happening. Everything still says I'm playing Haunty right now. Maybe this is funnier. Yeah, if you miss Night Coffee, if you missed the opening portion of this or have not, let me get the link again. Basically, Vox Media and The Atlantic signed a deal with OpenAI. Here's the link again. To give them access to all of their archives and presumably all of their future content. The exact details of the bargain are not clear. And so we were talking about that. We're talking about that and the future of media and this industry and how things are going to go. And just how absolutely fucked up is all is, and how sick to my stomach it makes me feel. I say cackling. Man, yeah. Talking and screaming about it. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard not to feel really, really, really bad about everything. Just everything about the world right now. And a lot of times I get through hard times like this by knowing that, like, you have to go through, all right, you have to go through hard times to get through the other end. And the nature of technology is that a new scams are always coming about, new products are always being released, to say nothing of the world at large, which we can't even begin to broach. Just talking about the US and how things are going here, you have to go through hard times to improve things. Like, right, it takes effort, it takes strain, it takes stress for things to improve. But boy, it would be cool if things started improving because of it. I don't know. The pie was good. I'm jealous. I don't know if I want to eat pumpkin pie or pecan pie. Pecan pie is such a fall pie to me. I think it would really blow my mind to be eating it in May. I think the flavor profile would make me time travel. Okay. I don't know. Weird world. Weird world. Okay. I'm rallying. I drank all my water because I was talking and screaming so much. It really dries you out. Stress screaming into a microphone. Ooh. I guess we should play a game. I honestly can't decide. No, we'll do a poll. I'm gonna do a poll. Phew. Okay. Actually, while you vote, I'm gonna go get water. I'll be right back. I'm excited about Nine Souls. I'm excited that that studio is still making games. It was touch and go for a while. Don't tie it, you fucking monsters. You fucking jesticles, don't you do it. Hey! Okay, I win. Liz contributed 1,000 points. It doesn't say to what, though, which I think is really funny. It's cute, but dark? All right, I'll change what we're doing. There we go. I don't know how to change it midstream on YouTube. Maybe I can't. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this YouTube VOD because it's gonna have the haunty thumbnail on the top. I've played their last two games. I love them. This looks like it's gonna be much different on account of it's not as far as I know of a horror game. Yeah, Sixergen, I would you can drop the link. Not sure it's a horror game, but it's not lighthearted, that's for sure. Good to know. That's fine. Thank you, Zixergen. I'll reread it. Cartoon gore and disturbing things. That's okay. Cartoon gore is among my favorite kinds of gore. I would say that's a pretty top tier kind of gore. I'm out of steam. Maybe we should have played the game after all. Well, standing up and walking and getting water helped. I don't know. Ryan, what kind of tiny pie are you gonna get? Everybody should get tiny pie. We deserve it. We all deserve tiny amounts of pie. That's true. I can do whatever I want. I just changed it to just chatting, though. Should we start playing Haunting now that it says just chatting? That would be really funny. Have I seen John Dies at the End? I haven't. That's been on my list to watch for a while. Is it okay to ask if Jenna made plans to make a video about a year post-Polygon? Oh. Did I say I was going to do that? Normally I remember when I make promises like that. Did I say I was going to make like a year in review or like, I think I joked, semi-joked, I might still do this, about doing like a yearly review since I don't have to do those anymore since I'm my own boss. A year in review. It's not a bad idea. I think that would be cool. That'd be cool Patreon content. So I can talk through some of like the strategies, some of the things I've been doing in the past year, what things worked and didn't work from the first year. Brian does thirdly reviews for Patreon. It is funny. Okay, I like that. All right. I like that idea. Yeah, maybe I will. Twitch chat gives you a performance review. Abso-fucking-lutely not. No. Ooh, what are you gonna bake? What are you gonna bake with that rhubarb? I've been negligent on my rhubarb participation this spring. The rhubarb snacking pie from Spit and Kitchen. That sounds amazing. I've made their blueberry snacking pies. Very good. Really good. Snacking cake. No, I'm with you. The boy bait. I like the blueberry boy bait. Except more boobus, Olivia. No. It's a good community I've got here. Yeah, it's true. It's a good community. Y'all are the best. But I don't want you to give me a performance review. Yeah. Oh, for sure. This is going to be a VOD. Yeah. I don't think I've been, hopefully been very careful not to speak about anything I shouldn't. I don't know. It'll be there. It'll be around. Only Mechtel? No, if in fact I could put my foot down, Mechtel is the one person. No, only I am my boss. I only your boss can do your performance review, and I am my own boss. Therefore, I will perform my review and review my perform. But I don't remember, how do performance reviews go? It's all about like goals you had for the past year, goals you'll have for the future. Olivia, are you the customers or the boss? Because the customer doesn't get to do a performance review either. Olivia, which am I? Mechtel is a boss. I will grant you that. I will grant you that. Bigger, goofier grandma 70s glasses. I have these. There we go. Bigger, grandma-ish. Emmy. I respect your restraint of not doing that while I was mid-scream, etc., etc. Thank you. I like these glasses a lot. I like them a lot, but they're heavier because they're plastic. This is a wireframe one. These are my day-to-day glasses. But I really like them. I like the way the pink fades to the brown. I think it's cute. Matches my stylings. So there we go. Not giant circles that make you look like a round little kid face. You wanted like Coke bottle grandma glasses. Well, I'll mark down needs improvement. I mean, I think it would be responsible for me to think more proactively about what stuff, what am I trying to say? Like, because when you do a performance review, there are like categories in which you're tracking improvement or deficiency, etc. And that sounds boring and nightmarish, but what if I do that for like I think figuring out what those categories would be for me would be really important. I think that would be beneficial. You have a whole rubric. Can you break us off a piece? Because I think it would be stuff like didn't work Saturdays. Efficiency, productivity, excellence, and personal goals met. What are your goals? Did you reach them? What did you do well? What can be improved? I like the idea that I could do this and then put on my LinkedIn that I have one employee. It's me. Rubric pie. Wouldn't want to eat it. Yeah, I guess it's worth checking on. This is the thing is like, I know a thing I should improve. This mark this under needs improvement would be I'm doing better about tracking numbers and putting energy and focus where I'm getting results, if that makes sense. Like in reinvesting in the areas that I'm already seeing results in for like in terms of like platform growth. That's a thing I should do more of. I should care more about the numbers, but I don't care about the fucking numbers. And this is my greatest detriment to becoming the next Mr. Beast. And I don't give a fuck about the numbers. It's worth thinking about. I'm gonna have to think about it. I think that would be a fun and smart thing for me to do and sit down and think about. There's a company that gave a fishing trip to the employee of the month every month, but the same guy kept getting it because he was the only employee. It was his company. Well, I like that. Could I make up a bunch of employee of the month posters and put them on my back wall? That would be so fun. That would be so funny. Yeah, I was thinking about it. This is the thing is like, I feel like I don't always take advantage of the fact that I'm freelance. I am my own boss. And so I've been thinking about implementing a 4-day work week for myself. I think I saw somebody posting on Tumblr that was like, if you're your own boss or you do freelance, you need to think about what you would ask of yourself if you were a boss and also a union member. And if I were a union member for the job that I do now, I would be like 4-day weekday, 4-day weekday, 4-day week, 4-day week. So maybe I'll take Wednesdays off or something. That might be nice. Thinking about that. I could sell them as merch. It would be so funny. So everybody could have employee of the month posters, but it's just me. It's so funny. That would be incredible. Okay, I'll think about it. What do employee of the month posters look like? Not the movie. Who cares about the movie? Okay. Wow, these are terrible. I could definitely make one of these. Okay. I love this. All right, I'll think about it. That would be really funny. A decorative plaque. I like the idea of a decorative plaque that doesn't have the month filled in, so I could just manually fill it in. Or like a calendar, an employee of the month calendar that I have pre-printed at the beginning of the year, and every month it is just me. A Patreon tier where we get the employee of the month poster every month updated. Really funny. Really, really funny. I'm gonna get on fucking Canva, make an employee of the month. A whiteboard text her, she could write it in yourself. I love that. I really love that. Maybe I'll make it a digital download and you can print it yourself it'll be a file actually. It'll be a Photoshop file. So all you have to do, no, not Photoshop. It'll be a Paint file. So you can just go in and type in the month and export it. Hey, Lakshana. Welcome. It's been a real one. Been a real one. Get an employee of the month frame, but it's a mirror. That's really good. Everybody should have that. That's one of those things where if I saw that in somebody's home, I would think it's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. If I saw that in a workplace, I would burn it down. I would burn the whole building down. Bye, Goth. Have a good rest of your week. Is it Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. Oh, boy. I would burn it down. I would break the mirror. I would break the mirror and I would burn the place down. Because that's fucking grim. Yes, half and half. Exactly that. So stupid. So stupid. Oh, I like that. Oh, Corvus Punk. Okay. Friend cat of the month for their 3 cats. They stick a Polaroid on the wall with a reason written under it. 1 month the cat was being shitty, so the Roomba won. It makes me think of the penguin board. Penguin of the month. Villain penguin of the month. I don't remember what the bad side is. But where it's like bit their keeper. What if I had something like that, but they were both me? Because obviously they would have to both be me. I'm the only penguin here. Or should that be something for you? Yeah, the nice naughty board. Maybe there should be a nice naughty board for chat. How would I do that? I'll have to think about it. A long tone, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm going to think about how to implement a nice naughty board for chat. Because I think that would be really funny. Can I pin messages? I think I could pin messages. I can pin messages. I like that. I'll have to think about that. I also have to think about my categories for nice and naughtiness. Points redeem? Maybe. I like the idea of a nice list that you can buy your way onto. That's really funny. Yeah, ice applaud. That's a null category. That's almost a baseline. I don't know if there can be a good, bad. You're right. You know, Evan wins. You've made a good point, which is that there is going to be a race to the top and a race to the bottom, which is dangerous. Or dangerous, tricky. A tricky thing to balance. Yeah, I'll have to think about how to implement that. I think it would be funny. Nice and naughty should be extremely arbitrary as you constantly change as our mercurial and all-powerful leader. I mean, this as a Justy's jolt. Yeah, it would have to. Moment to moment, day to day, stream to stream. It's going to be different. You're going to show up and your name is going to be on the naughty list and you won't fucking know why. And I'm not going to tell you why. You're just going to have to think about it. And then the next day you'll be on the nice list. Why? Who knows? Just let Nightbot decide. That's also funny. I do think Nightbot can randomly select people. Like, it can do that for, like, giveaways and stuff. Be really funny. How else are you going to instill paranoia? It's a great point. Or a terrible point. I haven't decided. We'll see. Anyway, stuff like that is stuff I should be thinking more about is, like, if I were my own boss, how would I... Uh-oh. What is this link? What is this imager link that you're sending to the chat? I like Boss Steeber. I like signature Boss Steeber. Sometimes when I do freelancing, I have to put down the name of my company. And like, you have to put it down because it's like, if you don't, it doesn't think that field is full. So I do have to sometimes be like, yeah, I'm Jenna Stoeber. I work for the company Jenna Stoeber, and my role is that I'm Jenna Stoeber. Or my role is that I am the boss of Jenna Stoeber. It sucks, but it's so funny. Yeah, this is my company, Jenna Stoeber. I guess I'm manager, head manager, CEO, managing member. Okay, I like managing member. I'm not an LLC though. That's the problem, is I don't have an LLC. My investigations have suggested there's no real reason for me to make one at this point. I'm just Jenna. Just Jenna Stoeber. It's really funny. I don't know. What other things should I be doing? I should be better about taking real lunches. I admit I take a lot of desk lunches, which is probably not super responsible. You don't need insurance, yeah, so corporate veil means less for you. I mean, I have to pay for my own insurance. Like, I pay for my own health insurance, but that's fine. It's just me. It's just me. I put my money in my SEP and my health insurance, and it's fine. Tax deductible stream lunches. I should be doing that. I should be doing that more. I don't need corporate liability insurance. That's true. Yeah, for now. for now. Sister Light, Sister Dark. Oh, I think I have. I definitely went through a Jane Yolen period of time growing up. I would have to eat so much to justify a mukbang. I feel like I'd have to eat quite a lot. Man, what else should I do? Maybe more. I don't know. I'm actually pretty good about taking breaks, but in this case, taking breaks means wandering away from my computer to have tea or something. But that's a break. So I'm actually pretty good about taking breaks and not overworking. And I don't work very late. Sometimes if I get up late, I'll work a little bit later, but I usually keep pretty good working hours. I mean, I have thoughts. Sometimes I think about taking a month off, about like pausing. This is the problem, is I can pause Patreon subscriptions for a month. I can't really pause stream subscriptions for a month, so that makes it trickier. Sometimes I think about just doing that. Touch grass stream? I like that. I could bring in my plants. I've got some lemongrass that's growing very, very robust. It looks very beautiful. It's very thick and luscious. Every morning I go out and I run my fingers through the lemongrass as though it were my lover's hair. And I go, should I go get my plants? They're in containers. I'll go get my herbs. Hold on, I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. I got lemongrass in my eye. This is one of my containers. It's probably over full. I didn't think the lemongrass would be as vibrant and lush as it is. It's kind of overshadowing. So I've got creeping rosemary. You can see it's creeping over the edge. The one next to it that you can barely see behind. Oh God, it smells so good. The rosemary is so vibrant because they're in the sun. The one next to it is pineapple sage. I don't know. I haven't used any of the pineapple sage because I do not know how to use it. Then you've got the lemongrass. It's so satisfying. And then on the edge we have African blue basil, which has been flowering lately. I plucked all the flowers. You can see it's real. It's real vibrant. This was a tiny plant when I got it. So it's doing really well. All my herbs are doing so well. I also have a mint, but that's in its own container because mint doesn't play well with other plants. And I've got a lavender. I've got a container garden with a bunch of lettuce. My bok choy, one of my bok choys is seeding. So I'm excited about that. Oh, the basil is so fragrant. I'm so sad that you can't smell it. It's just like... Oh, it's so good. So this is my little stem garden. Every morning I go out and I smell it and I touch it. And I make sure it gets water if it needs water and it gets love. Yeah, I use the basil for cooking pretty regularly. I haven't used the rosemary as all because again it's like it's May. Rosemary is again such a fall plant for me. And I haven't used the lemongrass yet either because I'm waiting for it to get bigger. Because you're really only using like the root portion, the very bottom of it. Although you can make a tea, I think, from the actual leaves. Yeah, mint goes crazy. It'll overwhelm anything it's in a pot with. So it has its own plot. I don't know what to do with the sage. I've been thinking about I know fried sage. My mint is doing mid. I would say it's doing middling in a pot. And I'm like, is this because you don't have other plants to bully? What the fuck? So that's really obnoxious. It's doing okay. The problem is expanding a lot, which is nice, but it's not getting, the leaves aren't getting very big. It's really leggy, but it doesn't have a lot of good leaf foliage. Brown butter spice and fry sage in that. Holy shit. Sage advice! Yes! That is exactly what I'm saying. Sorry we're not playing Haunty. Infusions and simple syrups are a good idea. Spruce syrup. Oh man, did you post about that in the Discord? Somebody posted about the spruce tip syrup that they're making, and I made some of that a couple years ago, and it was so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so beautifully, essentially piney. It's just like, it's so fragrant. Oh, yeah. Oh man. The basil, what does it taste like? I don't think it has a significantly different flavor. So, I mean, one thing is, like, you can see, well, it's hard to see there, but you can see it's very purple. And you can see, like, the underleaves. I don't know how well you can see that. The other underleaves are, it's a very purple plant. I would say it's more herbaceous than most basil, if I had to pinpoint the different flavor. It's not quite as strong as I think as like a globe basil is like the classic basil that you would get in like if you were getting basil in the store, like regular basil. And the leaves don't get quite as big, so you have to harvest a lot to get through it. But man, this baby's growing so good. The herbs are doing so good. This is my first time ever having an herb garden. And so I'm just like extremely pleased. Looks more robust. It's pretty robust. It's surprisingly robust. Yeah, I would say it's a little bit more complex flavor-wise. But you would never mistake it for anything but basil. Having an herb garden is so nice. Are you planning on planting more herbs? Maybe not this year. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I've been very successful so far, but I don't know how to do like winterizing or any stuff like that. So I'm taking it one at a time. This is probably enough. Here's what I was planning to do. I was planning on only planting stuff that I use a lot of. I was like, I'm going to get dill, I'm going to get basil, I'm going to get stuff that I cook with all the time. And then when I went to the show, the plant herb show, I was like, look at all these amazing I could never buy African blue basil in the store. Pineapple sage, I could never just buy pineapple sage. And so I got a bunch of non-standard herbs. But as a result, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this weird fancy sage, and so forth and so on. And the answer is just use them the exact same way that I would use other stuff. So I don't need to be overthinking it as much as I am. It's really nice. I think the lettuce is also really, really nice because I've got a little lettuce garden, and that's great because then I have lettuce all the time. I love a BLT, and this is perfect BLT season, and so it's extremely, extremely empowering and satisfying to walk outside and pluck some lettuce leaves and immediately put them on a BLT and then eat that BLT. It's just like, yeah, I did this. Me and Mother Nature, we collabed. This is my collabo with Gaia. I got bok choy. I've got some Swiss chard, and I've got red lettuce leaf and some pansies, which are edible, right? Pansies? That's the one that's edible that I have, right? I think. Don't quote me on that in case it's not. But I need to swap soon because it's gonna be time for other vegetables. But I don't know what I want to swap to. I'm thinking maybe like a small pepper, or possibly a small tomato, maybe some peas. I like peas, but my dad was like, you have to grow a lot of pea plants to get enough peas to feed a person. And I'm like, but I don't need a lot of peas, just need some peas. So we'll see. There's no such thing as a small tomato. I might not do. Peppers seem like a good bet because I think they're a little bit sturdier. You can get real small peppers, like lunchbox peppers. You can get some spicy peppers. And then those spicy peppers, you only need like 1 or 2 for them to have that beautiful flavor. I like that. Beans are good, very quick and easy to grow. Well, maybe I'll do some beans then. I need to go see what I can get my hands on, basically. And then I need space for it. Squashes, gourds. Peas are hard to grow enough to be satisfying. See, that's tricky. I'm really in it for the easy hit. really in it for the cheap thrills. Although I got a book on edible houseplants that's like, here's how you grow a citrus plant indoors. Here's how you grow a coffee plant or a banana plant indoors. And I think I'm going to try that. But it takes like years, some of them, for those to fruit. So I'm kind of like, oh, I would like to grow pineapples. Am I going to want a pineapple in 3 years when it fully grows? The answer is yeah, pineapple. I would always like to eat a pineapple, so I might try that too. I don't know. It's nice. This is the things that I can do now that I don't live in a very small apartment in New York. I have more space and more sunlight to do stuff like this. Yeah. That's true. Zucchinis are a good payout for effort. But I'm not going to plant zucchinis because my dad plants zucchinis. And I need to be in his reserve forces ready to eat his zucchinis. I can't grow my own zucchinis because I know I need to help him with his burden, his zucchini burden. And also his butternut squash burden. His squash burden it takes a village. Takes a village, gang. I was thinking about maybe some cute like pickling cucumbers would be cool. Green onions could be cool. I use green onions quite a lot. I don't know. This has really empowered me. My success has empowered me. And I feel like it shouldn't. I've done so little. This is Mother Nature really did the heavy lifting here. And I just get to benefit from it. Oh. It's nice. I was thinking about strawberry season is over here, but I was thinking about it's probably too late for me to get any fruit bushes. But I was thinking about it. I need to be mindful of my space. It's so tempting to want to get a ton of stuff. Yeah, we're cuddling plants. And that's all we've done on this stream. Enjoy the VOD. Olivia, yeah, it's kind of what it feels like. I bring home the metaphorical bacon in the form of fertilizer and water. And then Mama G, which is what I call Mother Earth Gaia, does all of the rest of it, of providing chlorophyll and rain. Oh man, Geo's diet. I love farmers markets, but I'm getting priced out of them. A pint of strawberries at the farmers market costs like $9, and it's like, I want to support local farms directly and not like as much as I can, but it's like, this is pretty crazy. Prices are up everywhere. I do remember when farmers markets weren't gentrified. Half and half all the time. I actually lived the 1 or 2 years. Yeah, for 2 years I lived not far off from the square, in the central area. And so I would just walk to the farmer's market, which is the best. If you ever get a chance to go to the Madison, Wisconsin farmer's market, it at the time, and I have to assume still is, the largest farmer's market populated by farmers in America. That might be different now because they're more popular, I think, but you can get anything there. It was all so cheap. I wouldn't have survived grad school without that farmer's market. It's the best. Yeah, where did I live? I lived, my conceptualization of Madison is so weird because I didn't have a smartphone when I lived there. So my the shape of it is different from the shape of it in my mind, if that makes sense. Like the north south of it is, I don't understand how it functions, but I was very near the Capitol Square. It is a weird shaped city. It's nice. Madison is the bulk of the isthmus. The bulk of Madison is like a strip of land. The Capitol building in downtown of Madison is on a strip of land between two big lakes, and then like the rest of the land is out and surrounded by it. But in my mind, it runs north south, but I think it is actually flipped from what I perceive it as being in my memory. Anyway, it's really nice. If you ever get to go to Madison, it is a lovely city. Or it was when I lived there. I don't know what it's like now. And the farmers market in St. Louis, there's a couple of them. And they're all fine. It runs southwest, northeast. Yeah, see, in my mind, it's the opposite. It's all just weird. My conceptual of it is bad. They like it a lot there. It's nice. It's really nice. The campus is really nice because it's right on the lake. And so you can go to the rat cellar and like just sit on the lake. Like the chairs for the bar, you can just like get a beer and then pull up to the lake and hang out. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hey, Boggy Robot. I'm showing off my beautiful herbs. And I'm helping them. Right? You're supposed to like talk to your plants. That's good for them. Let them know that I love them and that I'm proud of them. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta log off and touch grass, and sometimes you gotta touch grass indoors while you're logged on, because you can do that. This is what I do every morning, genuinely. I wake up and I brush my teeth and I put on coffee, and then I go out and I just run my fingers through my grass. I love them. It's so satisfying. I don't think I've ever cooked with lemongrass ever, but it was genuinely, I saw this plant at the plant sale and I was like, really, really, really satisfying to touch. Again, I went in with all these big ideas about getting culinary herbs, and then when faced with the purchasing, I was like, I want to touch. I just want things I can play with. Usually put them in hot pot. I've got some recipes I'm excited to try out. A little bit of lemongrass goes a long way. That's good to know. They make a great stock. Okay. Yeah. I think you want the bottoms to be pretty thick, and the bottoms on these aren't thick. I don't think it's recommended to harvest until like the fall. So I'm just gonna let it go. But it's huge. It's huge. It is like, I regret not putting it in its own container. It needed the space. I think it would be getting real big. Real big. It hasn't, I was worried about it overwhelming the sage, but I don't think it really has so far. And nothing can dissuade this rosemary from growing. And I'd take a flower. Right now they smell like rosemary because I plucked one rosemary. This rosemary is so fragrant. It is crazy fragrant. It's so nice. And I eat it. I should wash it. I'm gonna eat it. Okay. I don't use pesticides. It's fine. It's probably not fine. It was an irresponsible thing to do, but I'll live. Don't do as I say or do. Look at this. This basil is crazy. It's so big. I feel like I turned my back on it and it started flowering. And then I turned my back again after removing all the flowers. And it's just like, boom. It's fucking huge. Ooh, a rosemary. If I could make a rosemary focaccia with this rosemary. That would be incredible. That would be so satisfying. That would be beautiful. Yeah, mostly I've been using the basil for basil recipes and the mint as like a salad filler, because I love a salad with a little bit of herbs in them. So good. Oh, my beautiful babies. Ah. Such a lemon balm on your angst about earlier stream content. Listen, sometimes you've got to feel your feelings, and sometimes you've got to be in your feelings about it, right? Sometimes you've just got to like be frustrated and be angry and be upset. And then some other times you've just got to touch grass. And that's balance for you. You got to let yourself feel the bad stuff and the good stuff. And the good stuff is beautiful lemongrass. So good. Highly recommend planting herbs. It's very satisfying. My dad is in no way, he's not a prepper, but he is very pro growing your own food and having that to rely on. And he is always like, you've got to start now. If you want to grow your own food, you have to start before you need it. That's his always thing. He's not a prepper. He's just very prepared in case of an emergency. But he grows a lot of his own food, and that's just like a Stever family thing. But it's just a good skill to have. His theory was always like, if you need to grow your own food, you need to have already known how to do it. Like if you get to a point where you need to be growing your own food, that's not the time to be learning how to grow your own food. And so like, yeah, okay. One day you won't be moving yearly and renting from some scummy landlord. I hope that is true. Yeah, that is true. No, someday. Yeah, that's what I tell people about foraging too. I think that's just a true statement about everything. There are some skills that I feel the same way about shooting a gun and riding a motorcycle. There are some skills where if you, for some reason, absolutely positively need to do that immediately, you already need to know how to do it. It is not the time to learn. But most of us will never have to. Like, that's the long and short of it, is like action movies might have convinced you that there will be a moment in your life where you have to hop on a motorcycle and chase after somebody. But most of these things you will never actually have to do. But they can be satisfying and pleasing and rewarding to do in their own way. And that's what growing plants is. You get to touch grass. It's so nice. Yeah. I also enjoyed the class I took for my motorcycle license. Was really fun. Learning archery, that rules. And then if you're ever in a clutch moment where you need to arch, boom, bada boom, bada bing. Anyway, I just think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I think there are some skills that you're going to reap profits on significantly if you know how to do them and you're not learning in the moment. Maybe that's all skills, whatever. Yeah, half and half. Yeah, and my father is in the farmers group there. Yeah, it's good to have skills. And it's good to have plant friends. Some of my other plants are doing well too. I got a spider plant from my dad. My dad, God bless him, had a spider plant that it was just in his basement for, I guess, years, and it was basically dead. And it was like, I don't think this is gonna last anything. But I put it outside with my herbs, and I gave it fertilizer and water like the herbs, and it is recovered. It is lush. It is beautiful. It's dropping little spider plant babies left and right. And I'm just like, okay, well, I didn't think you'd recover, but here you go. You're doing it. You're pulling through. That's what we could all do. You're not out until you're out, etc., etc. Uplifting, final, hopeful message, so forth and so on. Sorry we didn't play Haunty. I'm not that sorry. We didn't play Haunty today. We'll play Haunty on Sunday. And when we finish Haunty, we might move on to Nine Souls. I want to see how long Nine Souls is to play. But I'm excited. Yes, you should post garden pics in the Discord. If y'all in the Discord and you have garden pics, I want to see your garden pics. Yeah. I guess that's the end of the stream. Thanks for hanging out. I feel better. I feel great. I've gotten a lot of energy out, and I touched a lot of grass, and that's pretty good for 2 hours, I think. I'm going to put this aside so I can turn off. It smells so good. It's crazy how strong the basil and the rosemary smell. They're absolutely delightful. Hey, good stream, everyone. I'll see you Thursday. Have a good rest of your week. Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Go outside if you can. Kiss a grass leaf, one single leaf, and let the sun know that you're still alive. Those are my recommendations. Have a good. Has it been your favorite stream we've had in a while? Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you for hanging out and liking my plants. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you Sunday. Bye.